Technology has had a major impact on many areas in our lives. In particular, it has the potential to ruin the educations in our country. The three main areas we will focus on are the use of online courses as an alternative to the classroom, how technology negatively changes our core abilities, and the negative impact of IT on institutions. For the first point, we will look at the credibility of online courses and negative effect on social interaction. Then, we will see how it has changed the way we think and problem solve for the worse. Lastly, we will look at the issues that arise from laptops in the classroom, the loss of privacy, and pressure on educators.
The first area to discuss is students using online learning as an alternative to classroom learning. The major problems with this are the lack of credibility and social interaction. Cheating is a major issue for online courses. There are many different services that can be easily found online to help students cheat. A higher percentage of online students admit to cheating compared to traditional classes, but less get caught. There are also concerns regarding the credibility of the instructors. Because the students are not in a physical classroom, there is less outside discussion about the behavior and details of the instructor's lectures. The possibility of lectures pushing political, religious, or other views, as well as false information, is increased. These problems are all assuming that the diploma itself is accredited. Some online diplomas come from either unaccredited institutions or ones that were accredited by fake accreditation organizations, also known as diploma mills. Employers often have concerns about the credibility of online degrees. 56% of them would prefer a candidate with a traditional degree than one with an online degree, even if the online degree was from a top university. This could be because of the 42% of employers who think students learn less in an online-only program than in a traditional one. Next, we'll talk about the implications on social interactions. As said earlier, online learning does not allow for face-to-face communication between students and instructors. This makes it difficult to develop relationships with classmates, which can help students to confirm knowledge with each other and therefore learn content better. There is no personalized attention from instructors, including feedback and face-to-face interactions. The lack of interaction with instructors impacts students' confidence and competence. No campus atmosphere to create social interaction, as well as a lack of local networking opportunities related to the degree, stunts job opportunities and motivation for the students.
Let's consider the impact of information technology on an educational institution and some of the different aspects of it, specifically investigating how information technology impacts learning in the classroom, the delivery of educational content, and student privacy. When thinking about the impact of information technology on student learning in classroom environments, it's important to realize that we promote the use of information technology while we're also promoting the use of technology in the classroom. At the root of this is the use of laptops in the classroom. In a recent survey of 595 students conducted by the University of Michigan Center for Research on Learning and Technology, 75% of students felt that their laptops in class increased the amount of time they spent not focused on the content being delivered. Instead, they felt the time they spent on activities unrelated to learning, such as checking email and social networking, had increased. These results are in line with that of similar studies completed in the past, all of whom point to humans' inability to multitask as the primary issue. Based on Lang's limited process capacity model of the brain, humans are only capable of focusing attention in so many directions at once before becoming inefficient. Multitasking studies done with students specifically show that those engaged in multiple simultaneous activities such as web surfing, instant messaging, emailing, and leaving a variety of non-academic related windows or programs open generally had overall lower scores than students who use their laptops solely in an academic manner. But the use of information technology in the classroom isn't just something that students partake in. Their educators are also heavily involved. In fact, at many higher ed and K-12 institutions, educators are encouraged to integrate information technology into their classroom, with many institutions having entire departments dedicated to the integration of technology into the classroom. One of the challenges for these departments is the range in comfortableness and technical experience amongst educators. Based on a 2013 study completed by Professor Peter Carr's MSci 452 class in 2013 shows that 65% of students feel they know more about how to use information technology than their professors do. Unfortunately, because of pressures from their superiors and the media, educators feel the need to make use of information systems in their classroom, even when they're uncomfortable doing so. This results in valuable time wasted, confused students, and in some extreme cases, breaches in the information system's terms of service. Perhaps the most concerning thing about the use of information technology in education is student privacy. Information systems allow for the collection of significant amounts of personal data, sometimes completely unknown to the student. For example, a student's transcript shows the courses a student is currently enrolled in. If an advertiser were to gain access to this type of information, it allows for very sophisticated targeted marketing. And although there are protections in place, such as COPPA, for the personal information of individuals under the age of 13, there is little regulation protecting older students. In addition, there is no protection against the usage of data being collected at aggregate, meaning a variety of experiments can be completed to determine a student's behavior in different situations, such as what they're most likely to click on and when in a given cycle they're most likely to click it. Some of these systems, such as Google Apps for Education, openly admit that their users are scanned and analyzed while also stating that these same users have no legitimate expectation of their own privacy. These types of systems present increased concern, as even though the data may not be being used maliciously, it is available to those that could, in theory, be compromised at some point.
Information technology is changing the way students think and the way they go about solving problems. An article in Psychology Today says that the use of technology can alter the actual wiring of the brain. 95% of teens between the age of 12 and 17 spend time online on the internet. The time spent with this technology doesn't just give teens new ways of doing things, it changes the way their brains work. One example of how students have changed the way they solve problems is through the use of search engines and online solution databases. Students who rely on using search engines may become very good at finding information, but not very good at remembering it. This is seen in situations where they don't have access to search engines or other information technology resources. They are not able to remember how to solve problems that they had previously seen because they never actually learned how to solve the problems. Nicholas Carr, the author of The Shadows: What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains, explains that too much of our information that is derived from short articles or video clips is leading people to lose the ability to read and pay attention for extended periods of time. This is because the attention spans are getting shorter and our brains are getting used to being only on for a short period of time. When we read, the process requires us to be actively involved and requires deeper cognitive efforts. In another study, researchers found that children who use too much technology may not have enough opportunities to use their imagination or to read and think deeply about material. It is very important early on in a child's development that they develop these skills to help them learn in the future. Lastly, many students have figured out that instead of learning how to solve problems given to them, they can use technology to do the work for them. Students are able to use technology to find the answers to assignments, projects, and tests through various resources on the internet. Information technology such as textbook test bank solutions and Course Hero allow students to learn the minimal amount and still pass the course. When talking to classmates and other engineering students, many of them express that when faced with an assignment, the first thing they try to do is Google the answers to see if they can find answers for them.
To summarize, technology has had a major impact on many areas in our lives. In particular, we focus on three main areas. We looked at the use of online courses as an alternative to the classroom, how technology negatively changes our core abilities, and the negative impact of IT on institutions. For the first point, we looked at credibility of online courses and the negative effect on social interaction. Then, we looked at how it has changed the way that we think and problem solve for the worse. Lastly, we spoke about the issues that arose from using laptops in the classroom, the loss of privacy, and pressure on educators. With all of this in mind, it should become obvious now that technology has the potential to ruin educations in our country.